Welcome back. In the last episode, we started scouting Drummond Island with the Chevy. After a mishap, we were forced to move into the International Scout, and we began scouting the Island Lake map. In this episode, we will continue to scout Island Lake until it's completely discovered, and rendezvous with the Chevy in Drummond Island and see if we can't get it back up on its wheels. Let's get started. If we take a right immediately entering the sawmill yard, we can follow the road around the backside and take a trail up into the mountains to find an upgrade. As soon as you enter this trail, you can turn left into the trees. And here we'll find the engageable diff lock for the white western star. Now if you follow this road into the trees, it'll come out on the bottom. I attempted to take a shortcut here, which I would not advise. Fortunately, I was finally able to get back up on my wheels. Let's pull this trailer down to the road where we can access it easier. We can discover this trailer and activate signal in the mountains. And backtracking up the road a little ways, we can get the watchtower that's right by us. And there's another scout task here that we can complete, the huntsman in the car. By doing these scout tasks while we have them out the first time around the map, it's a great way to boost your XP, make a little bit of money, and get them over with right away so you don't have to come back and do them again later. Now, if we leave this truck here for a moment, we can run up ahead and take care of a few things while we're in the area. I'm going to steal the fuel back out of it just to make sure I don't run out before I can get back. Now, just off to the side of this little warehouse area, there is a road back here. And if we follow it down a little ways, we can find a service trailer. And now we can head back to the other scout that we left along the side of the road. We'll put a little bit of fuel back into it to help us along the way. We can leave the truck here and run up the hill to discover this watchtower. Now, if we travel to the right just beyond this watchtower, there's an upgrade right up over the hill. try to stay on the edge as much as possible. It's pretty deep mud. And this is the engine upgrade for the Ford CLT 9000. We can continue on down the road. We are getting pretty low on fuel now, so we're going to want to pay attention to any side quests that we might be doing. And just ahead here is the drop-off zone for this international, but we want to make sure that we get our fuel back out of it before we drop it off. And with that, we've reached rank 6. Now the all-terrain tires are unlocked for our trucks. By plotting a path across the swamp, we can save some time to this last watchtower. We should be in the clear now. Now just before you reach the watchtower, you can take a sharp right, and there's a trail that goes up the mountainside. And here we find the raised suspension for the Chevy Kodiak. And as you can see why it's important to scout these areas before we start doing work with the trucks, because that raised suspension is going to make that truck a lot more usable for us. And now we can discover the task, A Little Help for My Friends, which is another scout task we can start on right away. Be sure to get fuel here. Now that we're back to the main road, we can take a right and head up on the way. We are now at the opposite end of the map, and the gateway to Drummond Island is right by us. We do still have one watchtower to discover and a little bit of scout tasks that we can complete before we move into Drummond Island. And we can turn right here at the fork in the road. And going up the road just a little ways, we can veer off into the hills. And there's a nice little opening in the rocks here, just big enough for a scout to pass through easily. From here we can move straight ahead onto the road and complete the Signal in the Mountains task. The Signal in the Mountains is complete, and now we can activate a new task here called Broken Antenna. Next on the list, we'll move back to a little help for my friends. Let's mark out our path. And this is where I realized that I missed my turn. These roads can be a bit tricky to navigate at night. If you need to, you can add a few more waypoints on the map to help out along the way. Be careful you don't miss this left turn. It's kind of hidden as you come up to this other road. Now let's take a quick detour up this road and find a scout fuel carrier up here. Now we can leave the trailer here for a few minutes while we get these last 2 points. And with that, we've completed a little help for my friends. Let's head back to the main road. Time to head into Drummond Island. Now that we've opened up the entire Island Lake map, we can focus all of our attention on Drummond Island. Let's activate this first task, support local rangers. Now we can cut through the trees here. I actually ended up taking the wrong path. If you stick to the right here a little ways and follow that ravine down, you'll come out the bottom no problem. But I went to the left. My mistake. It is kind of ridiculous how taking one wrong turn can add so much extra effort to your game. And here we can get the off-road gearbox for all of our medium-sized trucks, including the Fleet Star. The off-road gearbox is going to make our game experience a lot better. We can find a couple more jobs as we pass through the logging station. And this task here, it's called Tourist Attraction, is what we will be working on next. We can make sure it's activated. Take this corner slow, because I had flipped here many times coming through here with my scouts. Now that we've reached the fuel station, we can fuel everything back up before we head out again. Remember to get the fuel trailer too. We can detach the trailer here for a moment and run across this little river to discover this watchtower. And backing out of here seems to be the safest way. we can activate this task as well. And now coming up is something special for us. We'll be discovering our first heavy truck in the game, the Pacific P16. At first glance it might not look like much, but the P16 has specialized mud tires, and it's also in the heavy class, so it has a heavy class winch and heavy class engines. The upgrade that we picked up earlier in the Chevy is actually for this truck. This will be a big asset to our fleet moving forward. Now, before we can start using the P16, we have a Chevy pickup that's been left on the rocks for a little while. So let's go see if we can rescue it. This will be tricky with this truck because I don't have a snorkel. I do think I can turn the engine off and use my autonomous winch to pull me across. And I'm taking damage a little bit earlier than I expected. There, I winched to the tree, but damage is already done. With only 7 points left on my engine, I have to feather the throttle to keep it from stalling. And you can see I have lovely flames shooting out of my exhaust. I don't have enough power to pull this trailer, so let's leave this here while we can attempt to get to the Chevy. And there's our friend. But can we reach it? Now that we have both vehicles rescued and back up on the road, we'll just leave the Scout here for now, and we can use the Chevy to run up and discover this trailer. On the next episode, we will continue on with our Scouts and also use that P16 to get a little bit of work done while we're in the Drummond Island area. Thanks for watching.